I had a question that relates, I think, to both movies. Both of your movies are in a sort of documentary format, but not the usual documentary, maybe. Neither your Pequeñas voces is of an animated documentary, and your film is also a different kind of documentary.
He hates the idea that they pay the documentary.
Okay.
but you're right, it comes from real life.
So I was wondering if you think that the documentary form is meeting also with the fiction form, and if it's getting a wider target in cinemas, because it looks like documentaries are enlarging a lot in festivals, but also in cinema theaters. So I wanted to ask you what you like both.
Brevemente, i documentari sono film e i film forse possono essere documentari, cioè nel senso, appunto il cinema del futuro e forse anche del presente, un certo cinema mescola generi, forse abbatte, spero, barriere e limiti, e quindi il nostro film è sicuramente un film, certamente parte dalla realtà, però anche quando tu fai un documentario, cosiddetto tra virgolette, scegli, hai un punto di vista, quindi se tu metti la camera qui o la metti qui o la metti da un'altra parte, questo cambia, e quindi in questo modo c'è sempre una sorta di messa in scena, e quindi secondo me il cinema appunto del domani è un cinema che forse non deve più avere barriere, quindi non si devono più fare queste distinzioni, credo.
So for me, documentaries are films, and films, I guess, can be documentaries. What I mean is that the cinema of tomorrow, and maybe also of today, has the tendency of mixing different genres to cancel barriers and limits, I hope. So our film, of course, is based on reality, but as in all other films, including documentaries, there is always a perspective, the choice of camera positions, so there is always some kind of setup, let's say. So I think probably what the cinema of tomorrow should do is completely abolish any limits, any barriers of this kind.
I just agree with Sara, of course. I think documentary exists, pure documentary, and it's not that I hate documentary, on the contrary, but I think we just didn't do that. And for me, for us, it was a way to work with the materials we like and the things that makes a film. I mean, the playing face of in front of the camera and where to put the camera, and there are very different ways to do that, and work with reality that seems some way more near to documentary approach is just a way to enlarge the limits of playing, of directing, of setup. I think it was the same in the past, and there are great movies. Then there are movies, for example, I don't know, the Robert Kramer movies, which was filmed with a 35mm camera. The most that even the technologies, even before it was possible to do certain things, and in a certain sense, I don't think nothing changed completely. On the other side, I agree with you when you say that, or I think that the most interesting thing today is that something is changing very deeply between kind of cinemas, between kind of distribution, and so it's very interesting. It's very difficult to understand completely. It's possible maybe to understand completely, and but that's what I think for me, for us, is the most interesting, and we would like to work on this. And in this, there is no difference, no real difference between documentary or fiction.
Because it was really so, it really impressed me, like shaken me all over. And I liked your movie, yeah, that it's really honest one, and at the same time it's really like modern, some kind, because of this animation, and at the same time it's so close to reality, because it's these drawings, but they come from children, and that combination, that mixture, it really impressed me. And I want to ask you, do you think that cinema for the future cinema is gonna be like in the future cinema is gonna be further and further from the reality? How reality will communicate with all these modern technologies and everything, in your point of view, in the future? What do you think?
I think art is I'm not an artist, not a gallery artist, and I teach in some schools of art directed to galleries and to museums, and it happens a lot inside the art schools, that people is not gonna watch outside the street and watch the people outside the street, but look another artists instead of looking the reality. But there's no way to escape reality. I think
that's great.
But you know, I think that now we're living like in our society, we're living in the two worlds, like virtual reality and real reality. It's like, for example, I have an experience that when I used to have a girlfriend, I have a girlfriend, and then it was so important that we just go out and everything, but it was so important for our relation to put in Facebook the relations in Facebook. So it was more important that the virtual thing than the real thing. And we used to go out and say, yeah, but when we have to be in Facebook, you know, a relation with, you know, and I think we are living in a society that really, that two worlds are combining, you know, and then they are just merging, you know. I mean, you can kiss anybody, but if to put this guy on Facebook, it take a lot of, you know, compromise, you know. So I think sometimes the reality and the virtual reality start to mix, and I think they merge. Now in the future, I think we cannot really separate it. They are just merging and merging more and more in different layers.